All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into some seriously cool tech that's teaching AI to be less of a, let's say, creative storyteller and more of a reliable fact-checker. It's called LEANRAG, and trust me, it's a huge deal.
So have you ever had this happen? You ask your go-to AI a question, and the answer comes back sounding so confident, so detailed, but it's just completely wrong. Like, it feels totally made up.
Yeah, you're not going crazy. In the AI world, that's a massive problem, and it has a name: hallucination. So today, we're going to look at the story of how researchers are teaching AI to, stick to the facts. Okay, so let's get into the weeds a bit. To really get the solution, you got to understand the problem, right? The big issue is that these large language models, their knowledge is kind of frozen in time. It's all internal, which means it can get stale, fast, or just be plain wrong about new stuff. So, the first big breakthrough to fix this was a method called retrieval augmented generation, or just RAG for short. Now, the best way to picture this, imagine a super smart librarian. The only catch, all the books in their library are a year old. RAG is like giving that librarian a fresh stack of today's newspapers and research before they answer your question. It hooks the AI up to real-time external facts.
Okay, so RAG wasn't a one-and-done thing. It evolved. The earliest versions, we call them naive RAG, were, well, naive. It was basically like dumping a messy, disorganized pile of papers on our librarian's desk. Just a total data dump. The next step, things like GraphRag, got smarter. They started organizing all that info, kind of like putting the books on shelves and creating different sections in the library. Way better, for sure, but still had some problems.
And this is where things get really interesting. Because it turns out, even if you have a beautifully organized library, there can be a fundamental flaw in how it's all connected, or not connected. And that's exactly what researchers found. They uncovered this huge issue, and they gave it a great name: semantic islands. Think about it like this. Our librarian can be an expert in the computer science section, right? They can find anything you want in there. But they have no clue how a concept in that section connects to something relevant over in the history section. All the different areas of knowledge were completely siloed off from each other. They were just islands. And the actual researchers behind LEANRAG, they said it best themselves. They pointed out that these knowledge areas were just disconnected semantic islands, and that made it impossible to do what they called cross-community reasoning. Basically, you couldn't build a bridge between the islands to see the whole picture. But wait, there's more. On top of the island problem, there was another big flaw. The search process was just clunky. The paper calls it structurally unaware retrieval. Let's go back to our librarian. This is like them having to reread the entire computer science section from page 1 every time you ask a question, instead of just knowing where the right book is. Super slow, super inefficient, and it pulled up a ton of stuff that wasn't needed. So, you've got two big problems: disconnected islands of knowledge and a really inefficient search method. How do you fix it? Well, this is where LEANRAG steps in, and its solution is, honestly, it's pretty brilliant. It's a two-step approach. Step 1. Build bridges. It uses a process called semantic aggregation to automatically connect all those separate knowledge islands. No more silos. And step 2. Create a smart map. It develops this super efficient search path called structured retrieval to find the best way through that new connected network.
And this new search method is a total game changer. It's like we finally gave our librarian a GPS. For any question you ask, it instantly pinpoints the most relevant starting facts. Then, using this really smart idea called the lowest common ancestor principle, it calculates the absolute fastest, most direct route to a full answer. No more wasted time wandering up and down the aisles. So what you end up with is a system that's not just way more accurate, but also incredibly efficient. The name LEANRAG really starts to make sense, doesn't it? It's lean and mean.
Okay, so this all sounds amazing on paper. The theory is solid, but the real question is, does it actually work in practice?
The answer? Oh yeah. And the proof is in a single, very impressive number.
46%? That's a huge deal. It's a 46% average reduction in what's called retrieval redundancy. In plain English, LEANRAG gets to the right answer while grabbing almost half as much junk, half as much irrelevant information as the older methods. It's so much more focused. And you can see this really clearly on this chart. These bars show how much information, how many tokens, each system needs to process to get an answer. And just look at LEANRAG.
That bar is tiny compared to GraphRag, or even the one that came right before it, Hierarchical. It's the definition of doing more with less.
And here's the kicker. That lean efficiency translates directly to better answers. This table shows overall performance scores. And look at this. LEANRAG clocks in at an 8.59. That's a big jump up from the older methods. So it's not just faster, it's smarter too. Being more efficient literally makes the answers better.
Okay, so we've got a smarter, more efficient AI librarian. That's cool for the researchers, but what does it actually mean for you and me?
Well, it means the AIs we use every single day are getting way more reliable. Think about it. Digital assistants that actually give you the right information. Search results that are spot on. And maybe most importantly, AI tools that doctors and lawyers can actually trust, where a wrong answer isn't just annoying, it could be a huge problem. This is a big step toward that reality.
Look, this is all pointing to a really fascinating future. LEANRAG is a massive step forward in fixing that whole hallucination problem we started with. So it leaves me with this final thought. As our AI gets better and better at finding the facts, how does that change the way we search for truth?